Welcome to the Trade Talk Showcase on Brownfield. I'm anchor reporter Megan Grebner. With us is Dr. Liz Wagstrom, Chief Veterinarian with the National Pork Producers Council. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Megan.
All right, let's start first. African swine fever is obviously one of the hottest topics and concerns in the pork industry. As we take a look at that, talk to me a little bit about what the U.S. continues to do to prevent African swine fever from breaking in the U.S. and some of the things that you guys are watching.
Great. Obviously, prevention is our top priority. We are working on preparedness and response, but we prefer not to have to respond. We want to prevent. And so we're doing a couple things. One is we still continue to work on the issue of the potential for any feed ingredients that would be imported from African swine fever positive countries to potentially be contaminated. And we know that's a pretty low risk, but it's not non-zero. And so we're really proud of what work we've done with the feed industry and with USDA and FDA to try to address this issue. There's been a lot more research that continues to be done. And as an industry, the feed industry as a whole has implemented in large part holding times of imported ingredients to try to minimize risk. The other thing that we've been very focused on is the issue of agricultural inspectors for Customs and Border Protection. We in the past have been very pleased that we got a bill passed that helped authorize increasing inspectors. Our Customs and Border Protection pre-COVID pandemic was running at about a 25% fewer agriculture inspectors than they felt they needed. Those inspectors are funded largely by user fees on international air traffic as well as on international maritime cargo. And so there's been a 98% decrease in air travel, and that's resulted in a significant shortfall for funding to pay those inspectors. So one of our top priorities is whether it's another COVID package or the continuing budget resolution or a new budget is to get funding in for those inspectors. We need to not only keep the inspectors we have because they're highly trained, but realize that at the point in time airline traffic resumes to normal, we need to be prepared to have our inspectors on board as well as increase that number of inspectors.
I want to also talk a little bit, are you watching closely what happens as we saw African swine fever break in the wild boar population in Germany, knowing that the US also has a very large wild boar population as well? Does it heighten awareness? Does it keep a closer eye on what happens there?
Absolutely. It's interesting as we've watched the two outbreaks. The European outbreak has been largely wild boar, and there have been backyard pigs and a very, very low number of commercial facilities that have been infected. And that's in contrast to what we've seen in Asia, where it's been a disease of domestic pigs and commercial facilities have been infected. So we've been looking at both of those outbreaks and trying to learn from them. So we've worked with the Swine Health Information Center to get funding for research projects in Vietnam through the Foreign Agricultural Service. And those are ongoing in spite of COVID, and trying to use those to help us learn about the best ways to not only keep it out, but to be able to do depopulation, cleaning, disinfection, and repopulation of sites. And so it has been a heightened awareness. I think it gives us the opportunity to talk with our producers about the need for heightening their biosecurity, for being part of the secure pork supply plan so that they have a plan, are prepared in case we do have an outbreak. And so, we're hopeful that we can continue to keep African swine fever out. We also are working hard to be prepared in case it were to happen.
Before I let you go, Liz, just a quick update on USDA's foot and mouth disease vaccine bank for viewers and listeners.
Absolutely. We were really happy that this year USDA made their first major purchases for the vaccine bank. There were two companies involved, one that supplies the South American strains and one that supplies the other strains. That is a first purchase. We're working hard to make sure there will be subsequent purchases. It's also, as we look forward to a farm bill, I mean, we will expect that in the next year, farm bill discussions will start for the next farm bill, that we not only keep that money in the farm bill, but increase the money for the vaccine bank and then other preparedness and prevention grants, as well as for our essential non-laboratory, the State Veterinary Diagnostic Laboratory Network.
Liz, it's always great to see you. Thank you so much for the information.
Great to see you. Thank you.
Dr. Liz Wagstrom, Chief Veterinarian with the National Pork Producers Council. I'm Megan Grebner for Brownfield.